Hi, my name's Chris, and this is A Train PC Classic. And I just wanted to show you, I guess, do kind of an overview and review of this game. I'm still fairly new to it. I've spent about 20 hours, and I still haven't really finished the second tutorial, but I'm going to get into my problems with the first tutorial. And really why this isn't the most accessible game, I don't think. But basically when you start the first scenario, you're going to see this. And you know, this is your town. It's kind of like SimCity, except it's like the series has been going on for a few decades since before SimCity, so it kind of influenced it a little bit. But in this one, you build a rail network, and the city develops around it, basically. And I built some rail here to kind of speed up showing you what I'm talking about this first tutorial, but like, when you first start it, you're just going to have like this platform here with a little bit of rail, and basically they want you to connect this station to this one, and then eventually they make you build a station over here and connect it up, but I'm not doing that because I'm not going through the whole tutorial. I just put this here to show something. So basically you get to a part where they're like, build this thing called a loopback, which is this thing right here. And what this is supposed to do, that I can't really show you right now, is that the train goes up here, and then, well, this is too short, but that's to illustrate a point, but like, provided there's actually enough space, it goes all the way up here, and then it comes down and switches tracks and heads the other way. And it's basically like building a big loop, except in a lot smaller space. So I was like, great, and I started building it. And I ran into a problem that my trains kept crashing into each other because it wasn't doing it right. And I don't think I ever really figured out why, but that's not really the main problem. The main problem was when I rebuilt it and tried to make it longer, okay, so the way, I need to explain how the game works. The way it works is like, your city develops, but it's out of your control. You can't really like build wherever you want. So like, if I try to build, let me find some place that I can't build. I'm not sure if it'll show me it without like dragging through it. Like these buildings, see? I can't, even if I wanted to make a, like, sometimes it's because of the roads, but like, even if I just wanted to make a track that goes through here, I can't because of these buildings that got built, right? Which is fine, but the thing that was the problem for me was, in the tutorial, I was redoing this thing, and I needed to make it longer. But the problem was I couldn't, because by the time I needed to build it, you know, quite a bit of time actually progresses in the scenario by the time you're able to build this loop back, or by the time they want you to. And what happened to me was somebody built a building right here, basically, and I couldn't finish it. So I said, alright, whatever. I'll I'll just build the other style that they show you, which is like this thing. That's not really the perfect loop because I messed it up. Go ahead and fix that. Like that, because it takes up, if you look at it, it takes up less space here. I actually built one here before I built it, and you can see the space that it takes up is this big. So I didn't even need to worry about over here. And that worked fine. I kept building, kept doing the tutorial. And it gets to a part where you have to build freight trains, locomotives. And you need to get these materials to material depots. And material depots are like these things. As you build stuff, these get used up, but they don't resupply from anywhere. So basically what you have to do is build a freight train that will take these supplies that are right here and like up here. Because if you click on this, let me exit out of this track builder. Oh yeah, there's a calendar I was looking for. But like, I think it might even be a couple weeks in game, or maybe even a month, I don't remember, before they let you build the loop back. So this, just keep in mind if you don't have this and you're thinking about getting it, that it's much easier to build everything ahead of time. But of course you can't know what you need to build really. But like, actually I guess I can just show you, like, you need to connect this station to this station, and like here I can't build a bigger platform yet, but you can like lay out this rail here and it'll buy the land for you so you can build on it later. You can just build right over top of it. You need another platform here, connect this, have a platform here. Everything has double platforms. And then you need to come down here, have a station here, but this land is already all bought. That's why it's a different color. Because like nothing is getting built on it. But basically you need to have this track come down here, connect, and then you know, if you really want, you can have it come up here to this area. But I'm going to talk about this later on. But like basically you just connect everything. You build a station here, and a tutorial makes you build one here, and then you connect it all up. And you can make it go up here if you want. And then for the freight train side of things, I used a separate track, which caused me a bit of a problem. Like, you know how I was talking about connecting it up here? Well, if you build your freight train and you like, basically the way I set it up was I had a big circle line where like it goes in a loop. And I had the track come up here, go down through here. So like the car will have a station here, pick up from this depot. It picks up an area around it, by the way. You don't have to be right next to it. But like it would pick up here, come down here, like there'd be track here. And then there'd be a station here, pick up here. And then you need to deliver it like next to each station in this scenario. So like, and you can build these depots wherever you want later on. Just keep that in mind to drop them off, or you can build additional ones next to here so these factories make more materials to deliver. It gets really complicated, but basically it would come down here, come over here, it would drop off the materials that it picked up, and I'd have different ones dropping off to different stations. You know, it'd come down over through here, it'd come down up here, drop off more materials, drop off more materials, come up here, and then it'd come back around. So it's a big circle, right? Well, the problem was, like, if you're visualizing this circle here, right, and there's like a track that runs up here. Actually, I guess I can just show you. I'm in the middle of the second tutorial, but okay, so this is like all developed and stuff, but this is my problem basically. It should be easier for you to see all this now. I'll let it run or whatever. And this isn't a very good system because I couldn't manage the problem that I had with it, which is that ideally I would be connecting this network that I built here to connect these city areas over to this, right? I'll shut this up. Oh yeah, that's another problem. They got congested and I can't really figure out why the trains are like... I guess it's because I have an unusual stop schedule. But yeah, that's another problem, is that like I'm not very good at managing what needs to go where and how many things of each to drop off and stuff like that. You know, it was the first one I ever did, and I could probably do it better now, but you get the idea. I'm just trying to get it so maybe you can see how it drops off stuff, like here. Oh, there's nothing to drop off, but normally I have it stop here and drop off some materials, but it doesn't actually need any, which is what that icon was. It was saying, basically saying that it was your freight train was trying to drop off materials, but you're already full up because you're not building it. Like, there's no construction sites or anything to use these. Anyway, the problem that I ran into was I couldn't connect these because there is actually elevated track. But it doesn't let you build it in this scenario, even when you reach the end of it. And it's nice that they introduce stuff one interface option at a time, but the problem that I was having was just that, like, I couldn't connect this. I would have, like, in order to actually do that and not use elevated track or underground track, but that's the thing that you have to research in the game. So I wasn't expecting to be able to do that, but, like, without using either of those, I would have to go all the way around here. It'd probably be impossible now because of all these buildings. And I'd have to come all the way down here. And I have to, like, go around this with the freight part so that this could all be inside of this track instead of having this here. So that was another big roadblock that I reached. And I ended up redoing the whole thing. And this is actually a successful first tutorial map. I just left it running because my population was going up and my funds are really low because I was, like, experimenting and building way too much stuff. And these ridiculously long, elaborate layouts and weird schedules and stuff, but you know, it got the job done. But the problem is just, like, I couldn't build it optimally how I wanted to because the tutorial was restricting me. But I'm just trying to show you that the tutorials are actually pretty complicated, and there's 3 of these. I'm not done with the second one yet, but I still feel qualified to comment on the game because I've played for about 20 hours and I've done like the construction mode, I've done free play and stuff. So I fooled around with everything the game has to offer, and I'll get into that in a minute, but basically what you need to know if you're getting this game is that, like, don't get this game if you're afraid of things that are really complicated or are learning a lot of overhead before you start playing the game. Because I saw someone comment and say it only took them 2 hours to beat each tutorial, or maybe even all of the tutorials. I find that kind of hard to believe because, like, it's pretty involved, and if you've never played one of these games before, it took me about 5 hours for this. And maybe the next one will be shorter. I didn't spend too long on it yet, but you know, there's more than just the stuff that's here. I'm gonna go back to the title screen and show you. I had to cut because I was kind of rambling on and on, but basically I generated a map. You can set parameters for, like, if you want completely flat ground, or if you want lots of hills, lots of trees, lots of residential areas, whatever. But I just wanted to show you all the stuff that you can access once you finish the tutorials. I fooled around with this a little bit, but, like, you can't really... Normally it'd have a list of trains that you can make here, and it doesn't in this mode. I'm still not really sure why, but, like, this button just increases the amount that you're buying and the length of the train up here, but, you know, it's the same as in the other tutorial. You can build, except you can build cars, which you build in the second tutorial, streetcars, depot button from earlier, buying, selling land. You can get subsidiaries, so, like, you can make, like, these are areas that will boost your population, give you money, consume raw materials, stuff like that. Basically just like the SimCity kind of side of things. And then there's projects. You can, like, research underground rails, stuff to help you build easier. You take out a bank loan. You can buy and sell stocks for, like, extra money. Look at your expense reports, but that's already in the other tutorial. You can, like, terraform land. Like, if you want to get rid of the hill, you can. Yeah. It's pretty basic. But, you know, you can move stuff around. But I just wanted to show you, like, the amount of stuff in this game is a lot. And that's the main thing I'm trying to say, is that, like, oh, and there's a camera mode I forgot to point out, but, like, you can follow, I'm pretty sure you could follow stuff. Like, follow a train. Like, if there's a train here, you'd be able to follow it, but there's not. But, basically this game's really complicated, so if you're okay with that, and you're okay with a big learning overhead, then I would go ahead and get it. But, like, if you want a game that's like SimCity, but a lot more complicated. But if you don't, like, if you're afraid of games that are too complicated, or just, like, don't have the time, then I would pass, honestly. Another sticking point with the game is the price. It's $60 and $40 on sale usually. It's a lot more in Japan, but I picked it up for $40. But, you know, like, someone who's casual, who's just like checking this out, you know, I don't really know if they would like the game anyway because it's so complicated. But definitely, I don't think they would want to pay $60 or maybe even $40 for this game. But, you know, I don't really know the analytics of this game, like how it sells, who it sells to, you know. But just be aware that this game is kind of a commitment. And lastly, I'm just going to show, like, in the tutorial it actually has the trains, what's up with it. Or what I mean by some of the complexity that's not maybe in the tutorial. Oh, this is the wrong save. I need to click this until I can get to the options menu, I think. Because you actually need to unlock the options. Like they add buttons down here as you go on in the tutorial. Click through here. Okay, I think I'll finally get it soon. Okay, there we go. Okay. So I'm just going to load one of these saves. That's way too fast. And we're just going to wait for one of these to stop. Okay, so this train. You can configure these and change what they carry. Like right now, all 4 of the cars on the locomotive are materials, because that's all you need to transport in this one. But you know how this material depot is here, and I need to deliver down here. Well, basically, there's ones for food, seafood, lumber, oil, coal. And this is just so you can use your freight trains as passenger cars, but like you can add on a food car, seafood car, lumber car, and they're specifically for carrying different things. And you have to manage, you might want to have a separate thing for each type of thing, or you might not, and like the logistics of it all can get pretty complicated. So definitely not a game if you're just like, if you just want to stay on like the SimCity complexity level. But if you want like a deeper game, I think it's a pretty good game. It's just that like it doesn't really do a very good job of selling itself or easing you into the game very effectively, I feel like. And if you get unlucky like me, you can spend quite a while doing the tutorial, because you can't control what gets built where, and that can mess up the direction of the tutorial. Whereas in a normal game, you'd be able to just like work around it, which is a good thing. Like just that you have to just work around it. But in the tutorial, it kind of works against the idea of the tutorial, I feel like. But that's all I really had to say about it. I would recommend it, but just be wary of the tutorial stuff, because you may have problems with it. And you can't build elevated track in the tutorial, in the first tutorial, so you're going to have to figure out a way to like either just do this, or like, I don't really know how you're supposed to do it, but this is just how mine ended up. So yeah, that's about it. See you.